So I met my best match for negotiating on Craigslist of all places. So I was selling my Fitbit. I no longer was using it, didn't need it. And so I thought, well, it's still really good. Let me put it up for sale. So I looked around to see what they're going for. What's the going rate? What's a reasonable price? And settled on $50. $50 for all the things that it had, all the extra goodies that I had. Felt really good. And I'm not one for letting people just give me whatever haggled price they feel like giving me. So I set my price and I set it firm. So it was $50 firm. That's the deal. First day I've got it up there, this guy reaches out to me and he's like, this is exactly what I want. I'll take it. Can I come by this afternoon? I'm like, yep, sure, no problem. We'll set the time. We set up a time. And then an hour later, seriously, an hour later, he messages me, oh, I'm sorry, that's not the right Fitbit. I actually want this other Fitbit and I'm sorry to waste your time. I'm like, no problem. Great. And then, swear to God, an hour later, he messages me again. Oh, so that Fitbit, I went and bought it and it's not the right one. I still want yours. Can I still come get it? So I'm like, okay, no problem. Come and get it. Only this is where he starts getting interesting because now he says, well, I just spent $40 on this other one. So can you give me a bit of a break on this Fitbit and yours? And I'm like, ah. So you wasted my time, contacted me. You wanted me to negotiate on a deal because you bought the wrong thing. Is that what he goes? I should give you a better deal because you bought the wrong thing. No. So I'm like, no, it's $50. Take it or leave it. Okay, well, it doesn't end there. It's interesting. It gets more interesting. 2 o'clock comes around. He's supposed to come to the thing. He starts texting me a half an hour before. Oh, I left the house and I didn't bring enough cash. I've only got $40 on me. Is that okay? And I'm like, it was $50. You could stop at the bank machine on the way. There's one at the corner on your way here. No problem. And he's like pushing back, trying every angle he can to only pay $40 for this thing. I mean, it's a $10 difference, people. But I can tell that he, like me, loves the thrill of the game. He loves to get a good deal. I like to get top dollar for my stuff. So we have a really good game afoot. He gets up to the door and he checks it out. Yeah, that's good. That's good. He comes to the door. He's like, he only has $40 in his pocket. The classic, buying used items. Oh, I only have $40 on me. Would you take 40? Now, most people, this is where most people would cave, including my husband, would totally cave at this point and go, oh, okay, give me the $40, fuck it, And I'm like, no. And I wait. And I just lean up. I'm going to decide, okay, I'm just going to lean up against the doorpost. Like, here, give me the Fitbit. You can go to the store, like I told you before, go get some money, come back. But I'm not selling it to you for $40. So he goes to his car, he makes a big show of rumbling through his car to find that other $10 that he knows exactly where he put it, but to find that other $10, come back, give me the $10. And basically we had this exchange of a look of like, you got me. Right? He was trying he had some good game, man. He had some really good game. I give him credit, but he didn't know who he was up against. He didn't know that he was up against the Dominatrix, who really doesn't care if she sells her stuff or not. And the thrill is in making sure that she gets full price for what it is that she's selling. He didn't know that's who he was up against. So he played his usual tactics, which obviously normally work. Now, here's the lesson in here for us as business owners. And what I see with people all the time is that they leave money on the table because they don't continue to hold firm on what they want. They don't continue to push back and say, no, this is what I want. They give in too early. They compromise way too soon. And a lot of it stems from this piece of not being willing to lose. So in my little story, I didn't care. I didn't care if he bought it or not. I mean, I'd only just listed it. So I knew there'd be somebody else that would come along and take it for $50. I knew $50 was a fair price. So I wasn't overpriced. I wasn't being ridiculous. And I knew I could hold out for that. So I was holding firm. But the thing is that I see in business, and I just had a conversation with somebody recently, which is the epitome of what happens to so many people, right? You have something, you need to get a refund, and rather than just coming right out and saying, here are the facts, here's why I need a refund, I expect it by the end of the week, They go into explaining all of their life circumstances as if this has anything to do with whether or not the person gives you a refund or not, right? So just like the guy with the Fitbit, I didn't care that he bought the wrong Fitbit, that he had overspent. Not my problem. I didn't care that he hadn't grabbed enough cash before he left home. Not my problem, right? These are not my problems. The selling price is 50. Give me $50 or go away. And this is where we need to flip it around. So if you're in the position where you need to negotiate with somebody, you need to think in terms of, okay, what's important to them? What's going on with them? And what are your bottom lines? What are you willing to settle for? What are you not willing to settle for? And getting to this space of willing to lose. So I was willing to walk away from that deal, which allowed me to really just lean in and have fun with the fact that he was a great negotiator. I was playing the game. I was actually having fun with this. I'm like, great, bring your best banter. This is awesome. But the thing is that for a lot of people in business, there's that fear of being seen as a pushy person, you're asking too much, or maybe you feel like you need to justify why you're asking for the money. And here's what I see a lot. So you either can't pay a bill for somebody, or you need to ask for a refund, or you need to renegotiate. Any of those circumstances will bring this up. And what you end up pulling in is situations like, oh, I forgot the money at home, right? This dude, I forgot the money at home. I overspent on something else. Not relevant. So if you start talking about where you've been sick, people don't care. I'm sorry, they don't care. Maybe they care that you got sick, but they still want their money. Okay. And, and if you've fallen on financial hard times, leave that out of the equation. If you're trying to negotiate money coming back to you and you tell the other person that you're fallen on financial hard times, you know what that's going to do? That's going to set them up to say, good. Okay. Instead of paying you $20,000 for a refund, I'm only going to give you 10. Because they're going to sense that you're desperate for the money and you'll take the 10. And now instead of having to pay you 20, they only have to pay you 10. This is the situation. When we're not standing firmly in our inner dominatrix, then we compromise way too early and we leave a lot of money on the table. The thing about being in your power is that you have this detachment, you're willing to lose, and so you go for all of it. You go for it and you keep finding another way around it. It's like, you find other reasons why they need to pay you the full amount, as opposed to pulling back and going, oh, well, okay, I guess I'll just suck it up and move on. I can make more money. That kind of scenario puts you back in that same loop of giving up your power. So when it comes to negotiation, here are your pieces that you want to be looking at and leaning into. You want to get to the space where you're willing to lose. Really drop into, how can I make this playful? How can I make this whole negotiation playful? Not about me. Maybe pretend that you're negotiating on behalf of somebody else. That always gives you that detachment. So having that detachment, being willing to lose, stepping back, that's going to give you some space on being able to look at it objectively. Okay, along with that, we also want to be, really defining what it is that we are entitled to. Okay, so when I was selling the Fitbit, I did my research to see what they were selling for, my research to see what the value is on the marketplace. And that gave me a strong sense of, $50, I'm going to stand firm in my $50 because it is a reasonable, fair price. And when you have that information, then you can constantly come at it from facts of, let's say you bought a program and they can't fulfill, or they're not going to fulfill, or there's a postponement on the fulfillment. All of those things become a breach of contract. And if you lean into that wording of this is a breach of contract, you can stay within the facts and get all of your money back instead of compromising for part of your money. So really having a good grasp on what are the facts, what do I know, what can I lean into, and coming from the negotiation from that standpoint of here's the facts, here's what I need, here's when I need it, right? So that's the third piece, being really clear in your ask. So when you're asking, it's just the facts, just the facts. This is what's happened, this is what I expect, and this is when I expect it by. You can say that all really nicely, like, hey, we're all going through some crazy times right now, and I understand that, it's rough, and we need to deal with this. We need to get this cleared up. So how are we going to move forward? Because you're in breach of contract, you owe me $20,000. I expect payments to be starting at the end of next week, repayments, whether it's all of it or a repayment plan, something in place. So having that really clear, defined outcome gives people something to go on. Because again, this is one area when you're not clear, I see this all the time with people in business, even people who've been in business for a long time, they'll hint around like, well, maybe you could do something. Well, what's something? Like, I owe you 20 grand. Well, here's $50. Is that something? Yes, that's something. Is that something that you wanted? No, because you weren't clear. So getting really, really clear on your expectations, when you want it delivered and why you want it delivered, why you have that piece to stand on, will make your negotiations so much stronger. Now remember, if you get stuck in any of these areas, it is because we have to do the inner work that gets you to the place that you are willing to stand in your inner dominatrix energy and command that to come into you. Really stand in what you're owed. So if you're having trouble standing in your negotiations really firmly, then it's time for us to have a conversation to get you out of your own way into your inner dominatrix, making more money with more ease. Head over to bookdana.in.